So hello and welcome to data sufficiency class in simple equations. Excuse me. So as you see here in this video, I am introducing the study material for simple equations which I have prepared. You can see the link to the assignment here, that is https://dll.dropbox.com and so on and so forth. Similarly, the key to the assignment is also given and along with the solutions. To make the navigation to this URL easy for you, I will be giving a link to this URL in description of this video as well, so that you can directly copy it and paste it to your browser and basically uh, access these documents. Okay, so in this class I will be dealing with some of the problems of data sufficiency which I have picked up from this assignment. So we will be dealing with four problems of data sufficiency here, that is problem number 2, 3, 5 and 6. And once again I repeat, the source of these problems is this assignment. The link to this assignment can be also found in description of this video. Okay, so let's start solving the problem then. So if you see, we have to mark the answer as A if question can be answered with help of statement 1 alone, B if question can be answered with the help of statement 2 alone, and C if both statement 1 and 2 are needed to answer the question. So this is pretty much implicit. And last choice is if we are not able to answer the question. By question I mean this question, what is the profit percentage? If we are not able to answer this question using either of these statements, then I would mark choice D. Okay, so let's start. So my question is, what is profit percentage? I have to find profit percentage, and I have to just find that can I find profit percentage using this statement, these two statements, or not. I need not find the exact profit percentage to solve this question, because I just have to find that can it be found or not. Okay, so let's read the statement 1. Statement 1 says cost price is 80% of selling price. So as with any equations problem, first I will list down what is unknown. The unknown in this is cost price and selling price. But then there is a relation between cost price and selling price. Let's assume that selling price is X. This is my selling price. So they have asked what is the, they have given that cost price is 80% of selling price. So cost price becomes 80% of X, which is equal to 80 by 100 into X, which is equal to 0.8X. Now since we have assumed that sales price is X and cost price is 0.8X, we can say that profit, which is sales price minus cost price, is equal to X minus 0.8X is equal to 0.2X. So in that case my profit percentage is 0.2X by 0.8X into 100. X and X will get cancelled, so we will have 0.2 by 0.8 into 100. So this is a perfectly determinable value. So as I found that using statement 1 itself, that is the cost price is 80% of selling price, I was able to tell what is profit percentage. So I will safely mark choice A as my answer. That's it. You don't actually need to calculate exact profit percentage to find this, to solve this question, because they have just asked that which statement, means which group of statement or which statement alone will solve this question, and we have already found out that statement 1 alone is sufficient to solve this problem. So we will mark the answer as A. Moving on to another problem in data sufficiency section of the assignment. Again my condition remains same. Again I have given the links to assignment key and solutions. By the way, it's the same assignment to which the above link points. So basically it's the same assignment which contains all the problems which I will be discussing during the course of my various videos. Okay, so problem number 3 in data sufficiency section there says that, again same thing, so I won't repeat that with rupees 84 I can buy 14 bananas and 35 oranges. So first I list down what is unknown. Unknown is cost of bananas. Yeah, it is given that with rupees 84 I can find 14 bananas and 35 oranges, but cost of bananas is not given. Similarly, cost of oranges is not given. Let me assume cost of bananas as B, because B for banana, it's a very intuitive variable to take, and cost of oranges is O, once again for the same reason. Now they say that 14 bananas. Now 14 bananas, what will be the cost of 14 bananas? It will be 14, that is number of bananas, into cost of one banana, which we have taken as B. This is, by the way, cost of one banana, or cost of orange, if cost of bananas and cost of oranges is confusing. Similarly, what is cost of 35 oranges? That is 35 O is equal to 84. Now this is the information which I get from statement 1. Is it sufficient to solve the problem? I would say no, because we have already learned that there are two unknowns here, B and O, and just one equation. So with two unknowns and one equation, we can't uniquely find the value of unknowns. So statement 1 alone cannot answer this question. Now let's come to statement 2. Statement 2 says if price of bananas is reduced by 50%, we can buy 48 bananas in rupees 12. Now once again, price of bananas is unknown, which I am again assuming as B. I am again assuming the price as B. Now what they say is that if this is reduced by 50%, so if B is reduced by 50%, then new cost of banana, that is new cost, is equal to B minus 50% of B, because it has been reduced by 50%, which is equal to B minus 50 by 100 into B, which is 50 by 100 is half. So B minus half of B is equal to half of B. So they say that if price of bananas is reduced by 50%, that is if originally it was B and the new price after reduction is half B, then we can buy 48 bananas in rupees 12. So they say that price of 48 bananas is rupees 12 when each banana, that is each of the 48 banana, is bought at price half B, because half B is nothing but cost of one banana. So cost of 48 bananas will be 48 into half B. In that case, B equals 12 into 2 by 48. Now as I see, once again, I don't need to exactly calculate this, because this will give me a determinable answer for B. One equation, one unknown, as we learnt in one of the last videos. So that means statement 2 alone can answer this question. Hence, I will mark choice B, because I had to mark choice B if the question can be answered with help of statement 2 alone. Moving on to the next problem in data sufficiency. This is problem number 5 of the assignment. So it says something like this. If question can, once again, same condition, I mean, it says something like this now. Statement A is 3x plus 2y equal to 45. And using this, I need to check if I can find values of x and y. As we have learned that this equation itself has two unknowns, while one equation only. So with two unknowns, one equation, we can't find x and y. So that means statement 1 alone cannot answer this question. Similarly, in statement 2, I have 10.5x plus 7y giving me 157.5. Now even in statement 2, if I look statement 2 in isolation, then I see that once again it's a single equation with two unknowns. Hence statement 2 alone also cannot help us determine unique values of x and y. So first and second choice are rejected. Let's come to third choice, which says if statement 1 and statement 2 both are needed to answer the question. So I'm listing down statement 1 and statement 2 again, and I see that I have two equations with two unknowns. Now once again, by first gut feeling, this looks solvable because two unknowns, two equations, yeah, it is solvable. But then, as we discussed in our previous video, we have to be careful in these cases, and we have to look at the ratio of term with x and term with y, that is coefficient of x and coefficient of y, which is 3:2. In this case it is 10.5 is to 7, and check that if they are same or not, because if they are same, then we have a redundancy. The equation is either consistent or inconsistent, but in any case unsolvable. Let's check. 10.5 is to 7 is 10.5 upon 7. Let's see if there is anything common. 10.5 by 7, dividing 105 by 7, I get 15. Why? Because 7 ones are 7, 3, 5, 7 fives are 35. So this is 1, 1, and then 5. So since 105 by 7 is 15, 10.5 by 7 is 1.5, which in turn is 3 by 2. So yes, ratio 10.5 is to 7 is same as 3 is to 2. So our suspicion was right. So in this case, since left hand side in both the cases is same, hence we don't have two different equation but just one equation, that is 3x plus 2y equal to 45, and in another case 3x plus 2y equal to 157.5 by 3.5. I have divided this by 3.5 because if you divide this whole equation by 3.5, that is 10.5 by 3.5, you get 3x, 7y by 3.5, you get 2y. Similarly, RHS also, to balance the equation, you have to divide RHS also 3 by 3.5. So now if you see 3x plus 2y equal to 45 and 3x plus 2y equal to 157.5 by 3.5. Now I can go for calculating this 157.5 by 3.5 and check that if it's coming equal to 45 or something else. But in either case, I will not be able to answer the question because equations will be indeterminate because we have same LHS, that is left hand side. So in this, I will safely mark choice D and move on without solving anything further. Coming to question number 6 of the assignment, which is given like this. They have asked what is speed of car, and statement 1 says speed of car is 10 km per hour more than of motorcycle. So considering statement 1, what are unknowns? They have talked about speed of car and they have talked about speed of motorcycle. So both of them are unknowns. Let me assume speed of car equal to c, because c for car, and speed of motorcycle equal to m. Now they have said that c is 10 kilometer per hour more than m. So I can write c minus m is 10 kilometer per hour, right? This is from statement 1. But then statement 1 tells me c minus m equal to 10, which has two unknowns, and we have one equation, that is c minus m equal to 10. So statement 1, for same reason as above questions, cannot uniquely tell me the values of c and m. Hence it cannot uniquely tell me the value of speed of car, which is my question. Hence statement 1 alone cannot answer it. Sorry. Yeah. Moving to statement 2. The motorcycle takes 2 hours more than car to cover 100 kilometers. So statement 2 is not talking about speed but about time. But since formula for time does contain speed, that is time equal to distance upon speed, again I will take speed of car, because anyways we are after speed of car. So once again, speed of car and motorcycle, which is unknown here, I would take speed of car equal to c and speed of motorcycle equal to m. Now distance they have given is 100 kilometers. So time taken for car is 100 kilometer, that is the distance, upon speed, that is c, and time for motorcycle is also 100 by m. They have said the time the motorcycle takes 2 hours more than car to cover 100 kilometer. That means time of motorcycle, that is 100 by m, minus time of car is 2, because motorcycle takes more than 2 hours, right? Now if I take 100 common in this, I get 100 1 by m minus 1 by c equal to 2, which in turn is 1 by m minus 1 upon c equal to 2 by 100. So I have another equation, that is 1 by m minus 1 by c equal to 2 by 100, which again has two unknowns. So two unknowns with one equation cannot find the unknowns uniquely. So once again, statement 2 alone cannot answer this question. But say if I combine statement 1 and 2, where statement 1 says c minus m equal to 10 and statement 2 says 1 upon m minus 1 upon c equal to 2 by 100, then we do have two equations. Now just to be careful, let me take the LCM here. I get Cm as LCM, c minus m as numerator is equal to 2 by 100. This is basically this equation only, state equation 2, which I have simplified into this. When I see this, I realize that left hand side in both the cases is not same. Here it was c minus m, here it is c minus m by cm. Here it was equal to 10, here it was 2 by 100. So they are actually two distinct equations. They are not same, unlike previous question. So since they are two distinct equations, we can say that it must be solvable, because two unknowns, two equations, it must be solvable. So once again, we don't exactly need to solve these equations to find out that they are solvable or not, because we can say that since there are two unknowns, two equations, it is solvable. So I would mark option C and move on. So This was about data sufficiency. In our next problem, in our next videos, we will be talking about different kinds of approaches to solve problems related to simple equations. Basically, uh, all the problems of your assignment are the assortment of CAT questions only. That is the questions asked in past few years of CAT examination. So we have identified certain pattern in that problems. We will be studying those patterns and developing our skills in problem solving. That is solving the problems of aptitude which contains simple equations in CAT. So thank you. See you in the next video.